Salutations, Globehead Sheeple, and welcome to Meta Sheep Slaughterhouse. This is Dr. Cancer MD, your host, and today I'm going to be showing you my first placed MIKANKO stun deck. I'm using this to go first and floodgate the opponent rather than go second with kaijus like how most builds in the TCG are doing. I haven't seen any real pure go first builds. I have only really seen this deck played as pure go second or as an engine in other decks or with warrior isoled shenanigans. So I decided to take an idea from the OCG and play it as a going first stun deck. That's where I got the idea. And I managed to win this first place Kaiba trophy. I actually topped 4 separate locals this week, 3 of which had 20 plus players, including the trophy tournament. So I've been doing pretty well with the deck. So let's get into it. I got Triple Ohime. This is the main monster in your deck. It's basically your searcher. Every turn you get to search a MIKANKO card, and then you have to discard. That discard is unfortunate, but it's pretty similar to Illusion of Chaos from Dark Magician. And then when it's on field, it has the quick effect to equip a monster on field with an equip spell from graveyard. So you can use that effect basically as a snatch steal when you have the right equip spell set up. And then for our normal summons, this is the best normal summon. You want to start with this one because it gets you the best possible end board and uses the least of your resources. So all the MIKANKOs have the effect where they reflect battle damage at your opponent, and while they're equipped with equip spells, they can't be destroyed by battle. So this is the one you want to start with, gets you into your plays. And then we got some end board pieces, Nini and Jewel. This one is basically quick effect change of heart. It's just for your end board. And then this one's crazy. It's like a spiral resort, so every MIKANKO card on your board cannot be targeted by anything, including spells and traps. And then this one also searches a trap when it's equipped with an equip spell. So you don't want to start with this one. It's for your end board, because if you start with this one, you have to burn your Monster Reborn equip spell early, and you don't want to do that for the grind game. So I prefer to start with Hare, that way I can end with both of these and not waste resources. Then for hand traps, I play 12 hand traps total. Starting with Triple Ash, this is the best hand trap in the game. I really don't agree when people play 2 of this card. It baffles me. Like, if you want to play this card, you want to see it. And honestly, Ash is one of those cards where you can draw 2 copies and it's still good. Like against Branded, they add Branded Fusion right back to hand, then you Ash it next turn. So yeah, I think Ash is a must at 3 in most formats. Then I got Triple Nib, which is a very, very good hand trap in this deck, because if you nuke your opponent's board and make an 8k token or larger, you can just swing into it one time with your MIKANKO, reflect the damage, and that's game. And I also think Nib is really good going first. It's kind of similar to how Dragon Link can nib their own seals going first, and they just plus off of it. You can nuke your own board and recover from it extremely well next turn. So if everything goes wrong and you have to end up nuking your own board, it's not a bad strategy. All you need is one water equip spell or one ritual monster to get you back in the game, and that's very easy to do. And then, a lot of people say Nib is trash, this format, but I think when people say Nib is trash, that means nobody's respecting it, and so it's not trash. Give it a try. Triple D Shifter is one of the other hand traps. This deck is a shifter deck. I also got that idea from the OCG. You really don't care about your stuff getting banished. You can play just fine. Just set up a floodgate board, and then you can easily OTK your opponent under shifter. I don't play Droll. Droll is a neg-1 that keeps your opponent's resources in their hand. Shifter is a neg-1, but it can force your opponent to take minuses themselves if they play into it. So definitely Shifter over Droll this format. Then I got Triple Prosp. You can make the argument for Extrav since the discard off the ritual monster does suck, and I would agree with that, but whenever I play Extrav, I draw the second copy, or one of the other copies of Extrav and a D Shifter. So I made the switch to Prosp a while ago, and I have not looked back. Then I got some more consistency pieces. Triple Preparation of Rites. It's pretty much just 3 more copies of Ohime. Not too much to say. Deck is actually quite consistent, surprisingly. And then I got one Call by the Grave. This is like the flex spot. Ash still really hurts you sometimes. Droll can really hurt you. Other than that, you don't really care about too many hand traps, but those 2 are the big ones. So I might switch that out for this card if I talk about this later. Then I'll show you the equip spells. I got Triple Water Arabesque. This one is the best equip spell. It equips to a monster on field, then you can return that monster to the hand or extra deck and summon a monster from your deck and then equip it with this card. So this starts all of your plays basically, and you can use it to get rid of opponent's monsters. You can use it to recover after a Zeus or after you nib your opponent. This is one of your main play starters, definitely the best equip spell. Then I got one Fire Dance and one Purification Dance. This one is your Monster Reborn / Summon from Hand equip spell that I was talking about. And then it also can summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard to their field. If they don't want to give you anything to crash into, you can just give them something with that. So you want to save this, don't want to burn it too early. Then one Purification Dance. This is for going first. This one is like a compulse, basically. You set this up and you can bounce one of your monsters and one of your opponent's monsters when they special summon a monster. Both of those. Then we got more equip spells. Well, the last equip spell, Reflection Rondo. This one is the Snatch Steal. You like to Foolish Burial this card and then equip it from the graveyard to your opponent's monster, or equip it using the trap from deck. So it's basically just Snatch Steal. Then I got one MIKANKO Ceremony. This one summons from hand, ignoring the summoning condition, so you can summon your ritual monster out with this. Then you banish it from graveyard to Foolish Burial an equip spell. You usually Foolish the Rondo so you can steal stuff with it. Just one, don't really need more of it. Then I got the one ritual spell. This is probably the biggest brick in the deck. It's a finisher because it inflicts damage and it can pop cards on your opponent's board up to the number of equip spells you have in the graveyard with different names. I don't really like this card that much, but I think you do probably have to play it just to finish games. Might consider cutting it, maybe, maybe not. I got one MIKANKO Rivalry and one Promise. These are the two traps that I play. This one can equip from deck to any monster on the field, so that's where you equip the Snatch Steal one. Then it has an effect where if an equip spell is sent to your graveyard, you banish it from grave, add the equip spell back to your hand. This is another way you can recover from Zeus or having your board getting wiped. You just banish this, add water back, and then you pretty much got all your plays next turn. However, Promise I think is the better trap because it's 2 interruptions going first rather than just one like this one. This one, you basically, it summons from deck and then it hand or deck, and then it can equip an equip spell from hand or graveyard to the monster you summon. I usually summon Nini off of this, and then I equip it with Purification Dance. That's 2 interruptions, 1 compulse from the Purification Dance, 2 the Change of Heart effect from Nini. So I prefer to go for this one going first, but this one's pretty nice too. Then last traps in the deck, Triple Imperm. Not too much to say, it's just a really good card in the format. 12 hand traps total, like I said. Then Triple Tikaboo, there can be only one. This is a stun deck, it's a Floodgate deck. This is a Floodgate, your opponent will cry, all your monsters are different types. It's pretty nice when you combine it with your normal end board. Extra deck, it's pretty much all Winter Cherries targets. I'll try to go through them relatively quickly. One Dryas for the plant matchup. You rip this, it takes them off 4 bodies, so I like that. One Sarah, you rip this from Trap Tricks, it's pretty much an auto win. One Monk of the Tenyi for Sword Soul. I might switch this for something else. It's not always the most impactful, but depends. If they start with Tenyis, it's pretty good. Then I got one Romulus for Dragon Link. I could rip Seals, but I find Seals is usually pretty easy to bait out. This is the one that would let them make a big board in the gates, and if I combine this with another hand trap, I feel pretty solid against Dragon Link. Then we got Marincess Coral Anemone. Rip this from Marincess and they just cry, pretty much. Then we got one Scareclaw Tryhard. This is the one monster I can actually make because it's generic and some decks can't deal with it. It rarely comes up, but it's something I theoretically could make in the right situation. And then it's also a Cherries target to rip from Scareclaw, so they can't get a whole bunch of pluses off of it. One Mirjay. Branded is one of the worst matchups because this card can non-targeting banish. If I can keep him off this card just for a turn or two, I can usually kill him pretty soon. Gold Pride Pinballer. Gold Pride has this card that has non-targeting, non-destruction removal. I don't know, I might cut this for Chariot Carry, but it's hard for their deck to out your protection without that card. Sword Soul, I got Yugioh. Yeah, I got 2 slots for Sword Soul because it depends which play they start with, Tenyis or Sword Souls. Again, combine this with an Ashnir Imperm, their board's going to be pretty lame. One Mubeta Fafnir. Drytron is relatively seen in the meta. This pretty much makes them cry if you hit it. One Pearly Plump. Post-banless, Pearly got a lot more fragile. This is the card that they would even use to get to Nor. Without this card, they have to play like absolute garbage. This is the one that detaches material. This is the one I like to rip. It really hurts their grind. For Sprite, if I rip Gigantic and I draw a Nibiru, I can Nibiru them without fear. Pretty nice. Alan Bershin for Mathmech. Mathmech still got some tops over the weekend, and this is their all-for-one card, or all-in-one card. You rip this, and it does hurt their plays a lot. Kashtira, a Rise Heart that's got limited to 1, so it hurts more to rip it. And then if they go Shangri-La in my standby phase, I can steal it with a MIKANKO card, overlay this, banish a card, and then overlay Zeus, which is the last card in the extract on top of that. This is there also for if I just steal any Xyz monster and I want to keep it, I can just overlay Zeus on top of it. That's the extra for the side deck. One Pank. I feel like this threatens pretty much every board in the format right now. It's just a really sacky card, really nice, pushes for damage. I got, obviously, the triple cherries. You saw my whole extract is just cherries targets. You pretty much need 2 hand traps this format anyway, no matter which ones they are. But this one's a lot more impactful than, say, an Asher and Imperm. So just combine that. And sometimes this, like if you rip a Sarah or something, that'll win you the game on the spot half the time. And then I got back row removal package, 1 Cosmic, 1 Duster. Really sacky card. Might play more copies of this if I'm really scared of anti-spell, but I haven't been hit with that much this format. Then triple evenly matched. This is the best board breaker ever printed. Hits front row, hits back row. It's in every deck that I play. Then we got triple judgment for going first. Not much to say. I side this on everything. And then the spice is triple iron wall. This stops pretty much everything that would out your board besides lightning storm and duster. It stops mirror jade, smashers, evenly, cosmic. This card's really spicy. So many decks can't play under Iron Wall. It's been so good. Then let me talk about Maya Washidori. I didn't find room for this card. It's like a Monster Reborn and also like a bad Draco back. I might test out this instead of Called By, but so far, like I've tested this online and it didn't come up all that much. I might give it a try, but for now it hasn't really been doing much in my stun version. And then before I go, let me show you a combo that this deck can do. I'll start with one of these. Oh, so Hime, Hare, and then any random discard. So it's a 2.5 card combo. We start by activating Ohime effect to search, and then pitching the Imperm to the graveyard, or whatever random discard it is. Search the Water Arabesque equip spell. Normal summon Hare, equip Hare with the equip spell. Hare will search another equip spell. So you got to go get the Purification Dance if you're trying to set up the most interruptions going first. Effect of Water returns Hare to hand, summons from deck. You summon Huli the Jewel. Huli the Jewel effect to search a trap. You can go for Rivalry, but I like to go for Promise since I'm trying to set up the biggest board possible. And then you set the Promise and pass turn. And this may not look like much, but on your opponent's turn, you flip this up. You can special summon from deck. So you summon, of course, the Nini and equip it from your hand or graveyard. So you equip your Purification Dance to it. And this may not look too crazy, but this board is actually very strong. All of this is protected from targeting because of him. Then you have a Steal and a Compulse. This can activate the effects of the monster you steal, so you can take a Fenrir and then just use the Fenrir's effects. So this could be potentially 3 interruptions, plus all the protection. These can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. They reflect all battle damage. And then you have 2 cards in your hand for follow-up. This searches another card. This searches another card. Like this board by itself, there's decks that cannot beat this with every card in their engine, especially if you have these 2 interruptions to keep them from accessing any potential outs. So this deck can definitely go first. Don't believe the hype, you know. Okay, so Metasheep Slaughterhouse, this has been a presentation by Dr. Cancer MD. Don't forget that the earth is flat, gold rares look amazing, Maxi can never come back, and Chris Hansen is always watching you. Remember to dislike the video and leave an angry comment. Bye.
I'll get a rush to my